Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to talk about how to find all of the polar coordinates for a specific point that is given. Ultimately, what this really comes down to is understanding that when we have a polar coordinate, we have to take into account that if we have a negative radius, it turns it around the circle pi radians or 180 degrees. And so if we take a look here in this example, what we're looking at is 3 comma pi thirds, which is our r and our theta. And so what we can say is that, all right, well, if I go ahead and have 3 as a radius, I can have the point at 3 pi thirds. But if you really think about it, every time that you go around the circle, you're still going to be at the same point, right? It's just like in our unit circle. If we were at pi thirds on the unit circle and did one full revolution around, you'd be back at the exact same point. And then one other full revolution around, you'd be at the exact same point. So every time you go 2 pi radians, you go around a full revolution. And so we have to take that into account, that for all of the points, we need to have the radius of 3 pi thirds as our degree, as our theta. But then that could be done as many times as you go around the circle. So 2 pi, and k is whatever integer, or positive integer, that you are going to go around the circle. Okay, you could use n for that as well too. It doesn't really matter too much. But you have to take into account, well, what about the same point with a negative radius? Well, the same point, 3 pi thirds, is the exact same point as negative 3, but instead of pi thirds, it's now a negative radius, so that means we went pi radians around the circle. So I really have to add pi thirds to pi, which of course is pi thirds plus 3 pi thirds, which is 4 pi thirds. Okay, and so if that's the case, we have negative 3 4 pi thirds, and then you're going to add 2 pi k to that, because you could go back in the same spots. So what we are saying is that these 2 points are exactly the same point on a polar coordinate system, right? Either it is here at 1, 2, 3 and pi thirds, roughly in that direction right here, or if I went negative 3 in the opposite direction, I'd be here at negative 3 4 pi thirds. What we're saying is that if you started here, you would just flip it back here. Or if you started here, you would just flip it back here.